What's up, everybody? Brett Mix here for the Raw review for the week 73 of the Monday Night Wars. This is the 201st episode of Raw in its history. The ratings for this Raw were a 2.3. That's up from last week's 1.9. Nitro got a 3.5, though. So Nitro wins 3.5 to 2.3, and for the 36th week in a row. After this week's loss, the total scoreboard for the WWF is 17 wins, 54 losses, and 2 draws. So 17 wins, 54 losses, and 2 ties. Through the 73 weeks they go at it. This one is held from March 10th, 1997 from the Worcester, Massachusetts DCU Center. And this Raw that lost the week with a 2.3 was brought to you by Vince McMahon, Jim Ross, and The King. We open with this whole new badass intro. Thorn in Your Eye is the song. For the first time, it's unreal. The pyro, the atmosphere, just a great change. New graphic, new name. So yeah, this is the episode. This is the debut of Raw is War. No more RAW letters by the entrance. We get a big titan-tron with a curtain and all sorts of pyro. And it goes to the theme of Thorn in Your Eye with a new video package of Stone Cold walking in the back lot. Just where there's a ring and there's pyro all around the ring. Fire, barking dogs by the gates. All that kind of shit. And Stone Cold just walks through the middle of it like a badass. Just great new look for Raw is War, which is a catchy name because if you spell it backwards, it's pretty much the same. The first person who gets a Titantron entrance in this new era is Psycho Sid. The champ gets an in-ring promo to cut the interview on tonight's main event tag. He talks about Taker falling victim to him at WrestleMania 13. Sid, even as a heel, was over, which is interesting for a guy who's not great on the mic or in the ring. He says at the end, "I'm going to put you where it hits." And he comes out as the dead man. And the dead man comes out, as I should say, as Sid said, "I'm going to hurt you where it hits." Whatever that's supposed to mean. I can't stress enough how Sid is on the mic. I can't stress enough how the presentation makes this look better. The Undertaker comes to the ring with the new theme on the Titantron theme. The theme music is the same, but the Titantron is different because there's a Titantron now. So all these people get Titantron entrances, and it just makes a huge difference. Taker said, "I don't want to be your partner tonight, Sid, but keeping you healthy helps me for my Creatures of the Night when I win the title." So Sid, he says that preventing him, Sid's logic doesn't work about turning on him because Sid was paranoid about him turning on him tonight because Taker and Sid have to coexist. It's that storyline again, where the two people meeting at WrestleMania have to coexist in a tag match later. Sid was worried Taker would turn on him, but Taker says, "No, Sid, if I did that, I wouldn't be able to get my shot at the title, so I won't turn on you." Rocky Maivia defends the title, his IC title, against Tony Roy. Maivia is distracted by Backlund, who says, "We're going to take your title away at Mania 13. Flying crossbody off the top, Maivia wins at 138. The Sultan came in to battle Maivia. He meets him at WrestleMania. Tony Atlas was in the crowd, and Rock shook his hand. Of course, he won the titles with his dad, the first African-American champions ever in the WWF. Quarter of a star. Heavy Metal, Pentagon, and Pure Health versus Hector Garza, Latin Lover, and Octagon in a 6-man tag. This is the WWF's answer to the Cruiserweight division. This one surprisingly started slow, but it caught on. McMahon hears that Latin Lover and Hector Garza were known as the Sexy Boys in AAA, and he goes, "Oh, really?" As if to say that that's his trademarked Shawn Michaels name. Fast action between Heavy Metal and Latin Lover. Chyna bought a ticket and she's being escorted out during the match. Vince McMahon was learning all sorts of tricks for his 2-hour Raw and subsequent Warzone in Hour 2 to draw interest in the product. Nitro was doing all sorts of stuff with security, so McMahon followed suit, especially with people coming from the crowd, all that stuff. Going to 2 hours. All this stuff can be learned from Nitro. Having 12 pay-per-views a year. Brian Pillman cut a good promo backstage. While this match happened, a corkscrew plancha to Hector Garza off the rope. Latin Lover comes in. Oklahoma Roll for the victory. Heavy Metal, Pentagon, and Pure Health win. I rated it 2 stars. Ahmed Johnson took on Roy Raymond. And Ahmed stayed in control. The Nation of Domination's music hit, and it stayed on throughout the whole duration of the 2-minute match. Ahmed won with a Pearl River plunge after a scissors kick, quarter of a star. Ahmed said to Farouk that he's going to get help at WrestleMania, and he's going to get all of Chicago, and the LOD come out, and they say that the Nation will face LOD and Ahmed at WrestleMania. Farouk gets on the mic and says, "You don't know what it's like to be in the hood." Ahmed says, "You're going down." And that's all that matters. The new Blackjacks take on Owen and Bulldog. Owen is interviewed quickly about the European title match where he lost last week in Berlin against his partner, and it was a classic match, they say. Yeah, it was one of the best matches in Raw history. I gave it 4.5 stars. And Owen says, don't worry about that. Let's talk about the Blackjacks, because he's jealous. He's playing the I'm jealous and I'm jealous of Bulldog angle. They got rid of that angle when the Hart Foundation in '97, the stable, formed, but before they were leading to I think they were leading to a Bulldog face turn, I think, was what the original idea was behind this. But no, they scrapped the jealous angle when the Hart Foundation formed later in the spring. They promote the Slammy Awards for its second year, and I think they brought it back in 08 or 09. They usually do that with things like King of the Ring, the Slammy Awards. Then there's a big ECW invasion a little bit. Taz comes in and he gets it going with the King. Then Sandman comes out and Heyman grabs him. And then Leif Cassidy comes out for his match with Miguel Perez. Leif Cassidy and Miguel Perez had a decent contest. Perez rolled him up at 410 to win. I rated it a star and 3/4. We get another Sid promo backstage because, I don't know, highlights the strengths, but Sid's promos isn't strengths, is not his promo. I just noticed that Sid's hair looked like Itchy Bad Noodles when it's wet. Check it out next time if you don't believe me. Warzone debut as the hour 2 kicks off. They don't call it the Warzone yet. I think that comes in later weeks, but they do have the entrance theme again for Raw. For Raw is War. They have that same entrance theme for hour 2, but they don't call it the Warzone quite yet. I was looking for that to see, is it the Warzone from off the bat? But I think that comes in either next week or the week after. If not, a month later. I don't know. I think it's next week, though. I believe that's the debut of the Warzone, where they name it the Warzone. And it's edgier because it's later at night. Billy Gunn versus Aldo Montoya. Gunn made short work of him with a guillotine leg drop, 249, 3/4 of a star. Goldust takes on Tim McGeaney. There's a lot of jobber matches on this show. Goldust took on Tim McNeely. So Roy Raymond, Tim McNeely, Miguel Perez, all these guys. Miguel Perez isn't really a jobber, but he's unheard of as far as Raw goes. China came to the top and distracted Goldust, but Goldust still won with a curtain call at 139, half a star. Pat Patterson and then China, Marlena, all of them get going at it, and the security has to break it up. Psycho Sid and The Undertaker take on Mankind and Vader in the main event. Psycho Sid on his own against Mankind and Vader to begin. Then The Undertaker ran to the ring. Makes sense to do that to the beatdown. If he just walked there, it would have been awkward with his entrance theme, but so it makes sense for him to run out with no theme. Taker drops Vader to the floor. Mankind clotheslines Taker to the floor. Vader wears down Sid with a headlock on the mat for like 3 minutes while he's calling spots. Taker eventually chokeslams his own partner and leaps over the top rope onto Mankind and Vader. With that huge over-the-top rope leap that Taker does with agility for a man of his size that he did at WrestleMania 25 versus Shawn Michaels. You know, that the big leap that he did at Unforgiven 98 against Kane, where he goes over the ropes to the outside, taking down Vader and Mankind. Interesting spot since it was just a Raw, but anytime there's two guys out there, Taker just wants to do that, right? The match is still going as Taker and Mankind battle on the ramp. The Undertaker throws Sid in the ring and powerbombs and lands hard on his back. At 9:15, Mankind and Vader win. Sid, the WWF champ, left his partner and Mania opponent in the ring. Mankind and Vader gain some steam in the tag division because they get a tag title shot against Bulldog and Owen at WrestleMania. Rated that a star. That's the match portion of the show. After the match, the Undertaker beat up Mankind and Vader and went to the dressing room. To end the show, they had the Hitman talk about getting the WWF title in a steel cage next week, and he sarcastically said that he got the title by crying about it, since that's what he's being called, a whiner. He says the next week the Bret Hart will become the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, once again by becoming a 5-time WWF champion. This episode scores a quality rating of 6 out of 10 because of the edgy, crafty production changes. The thorn in your eye is one thing with the new entrance video, but to have the whole debut of the pyro, the name, the graphic change, people having custom entrance themes, the big titan-tron, it felt like the Attitude Era got kicked up to a higher gear. It's only a matter of time now for the show to go all solid red ropes. I believe that happens within a couple months. The matches were second nature. This was all about promoting WrestleMania 13. It did that well with the star power on Nitro. Again, the ratings were 2.3 to 1.9 last week. Now it's 3.5 to 2.3 this week for Nitro. Overall, the WWF was going in the right direction, despite a 36 straight loss. If you enjoy these reviews, hit like and subscribe. I'll see you on the next Raw is War. I'm Brett Mix, and I'm out.